What's up everybody? I'm James, welcome to Mechanical Mayhem, and welcome to another Workbench update video. This is the third update on this 1/60th scale classic Timberwolf model that I'm working on. It's quite a big one, right? If I bring this classic Battlemaster model in, standard Battletech size model, you can see it's not that big in comparison to the rest of this classic Timberwolf, so it's quite large. It'll be pretty cool to see fully built when it's done. So, this is the exciting part, because last I showed you this thing, it was gray with a bunch of black wash on it, right? A little monochromatic, a little boring. But now we got some color on it, more or less where I want the color to be, and it's starting to kind of come alive, as it were. Looking more like a mech and less like something that just has a bunch of black wash on it, right? So, with that said, I did what I said I was going to do in part 2, if you will, the second part. Or the second Workbench update. I dry brushed the gray up to this bright gray color. I applied the color that I want on this model, basically blocking in where I want it. So I have the red where I want it, I did the yellow for the missiles, and I blocked in what will be metallic and what will stay super dark gray with a super dark gray. Now, with that said, if this looks familiar to you at all, it should, if you remember Mech Commander 1's intro cinematic. I based the look of this scheme, if you will, heavily on that Timberwolf in the cutscene, in the intro cutscene. It's not perfect one-to-one verbatim. I wasn't going for that. Like, I don't have the red on the inside of the legs because I put the red on the hip actuator, so that's different. But by and large, I did use it as a source of inspiration for applying the red on this model where I have it. I'm using a super light gray as its color as well, and I really like it. I'm really pleased with it. So with that said, before I go any further on that, I did mention in part 2 that I would maybe try and clean up my workbench, which clearly didn't happen too well. But I also mentioned I'd show you the base, because this thing doesn't have a base it's going to stand on. And this is it, in all super bright, not painted at all glory. This plastic base is huge, and you can see where the feet sit to kind of hold it more securely, which is cool. But it does mean, in terms of theming this base, I do like the idea of theming the base and painting it to look in universe, if you will, to a degree. I do have a somewhat of a limited concept because we have these feet supports. My idea for this is to paint it up almost like ship plating, like it is being transported on a warship or whatever, and therefore I'm going to use paint to give the illusion that these little grabbers can slide. So it locks it in for transport, and when it's able to get loaded up on a dropship or whatever else, this will open up. You know what I mean? It should look pretty cool. I'm going to work on that in amongst working on the next step or steps for this model, because now we're getting into the fiddly, tedious part. Everything leading up to this was kind of fast and loose and a little messy. This is also a little messy. You can see it in certain parts of the red on the gray and whatnot, and that's okay, because this next step that I plan to do is where that will get taken care of. So firstly, on the missile pods, we have this little section. It's not that I forgot about it, I just don't know what color I want to put there just yet. But that will be colored in the next Workbench update when you next see this, so I'll have it figured out by then. But the next step now is to go in, brighten up this red a little bit with a brighter red. I'm not going for extreme highlighting or anything like that. I'm just looking to brighten up the red, make it a bit bolder. Then I'm looking to go into these dark gray, not everywhere, but most of the dark gray will become metallic, like an irony, kind of dark iron metallic, including the kind of ridged or ribbed area of the arm. I'm going to actually do a light dry brushing just to give the illusion that it's a dark alloy. I might even go in and dry brush the tips of the missiles in the missile pod. Those tips I might dry brush with a bolder yellow, because they're currently painted with a Yandin yellow contrast paint, and I think it works great. I like it. But just to make it more obviously yellow, I suppose, I might do a dry brush on the very edges and the very tips, I should say, without getting it on the gray. And then after all of that, which isn't really that much, but it sounds like it when you say it, the real tedium comes in of cleanup. So I'm hoping by 2 weeks time for the next update, I'll have all the colors exactly how I want it and the gray neatened up. And that's going to be the tedious part, and I think I will probably be getting some base coating of that base done as I'm taking a break from all this tedium of cleaning up the gray. I did do some cleanup already. I had a little bit of red here by accident and I cleaned it up with gray. It takes a couple of coats, a couple of thin coats of gray instead of just one globular mess, but you can do it. So don't be too frazzled if you're working on something yourself and doing something akin to this, these stages of painting, and it gets a little messy. Because the early stages will be, but now we're getting closer to cleanup. So next you see this model, it probably won't look too dissimilar than how it does now, just neater, and that's the whole point. So yeah, that's the next plan of attack for this thing. I'm looking forward to getting that done so I can start doing what I call the panel line and the lining process. I mean, it is a panel lining process, but it's not going to be strictly the exact way you'd expect to see it, because I'm not going to follow everything that's a panel line, because certain spots, like on the legs here, don't only have a scribed in panel line, but we're still going to do a bit of outlining and stuff that way. In any case, it should be a lot of fun. It's really coming together. It's really cool how a little bit of paint can really make something pop and transform from just being a washed kind of monochromatic bland thing into really taking shape. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed yourself at all, and let me know if you've painted anything of this size, doesn't matter what it is, and how you enjoyed it. So any questions, comments, requests, suggestions, or whatever, whether it's something for painting up this model or something else entirely, let me know in the comments as well. I always like seeing comments. As rare as it has been, it's always nice. So anyways, thanks so much for taking the time to stop by. I do appreciate it. And until next time, take care.